the entirety of his game because he is joining us now on Arena Link. Vuce, I want to ask you about the team's success in these last 5 games. But first, we've talked a little bit about how your role has consistently changed throughout the season. You've done what's necessary, what's been asked of you. Tonight, it was to take over the game. So what was your mentality?
Just to be aggressive. Obviously, when you go against a guy like Embiid, you obviously are going to have a big job defensively, but at the same time, I have to make him work on defensive end. If I make it too easy for him, then he's going to have all the energy in the world to attack me. So just trying to be aggressive, play off my teammates. I think we did a good job starting the game off where I got going with some easy buckets, and then I just stayed aggressive. But what's going against him is a tough matchup. He's one of the best players in this league. But it was a great team win for us. We needed this game.
We heard from Evan Fournier say that this is a Magic team fighting for the season. You went a perfect 5-0 in your current 5-game homestand. What now is working so well and clicking so well for this team at this point in the season?
I think we've just been consistent on both ends of the floor. Our trouble all year long was, we'd have like 2 great quarters and then would kind of disappear, and then we'd let the teams, go on big runs, and it would be hard for us to come back. And I think these last 5 games, our defense has been very good. That's what it has to be for us every night. We don't really have, the scoring that some of these teams have in the NBA that just can come out every night and put up 110, 120. And we know that if we defend, we're going to have a chance, and our defense can turn our offense, into fast break points, easy points, and we need those. And I thought tonight in the first half, our defense, struggled a little bit. They put up, I think, 60 points, which is too much. And but in the second half, especially the third quarter, I think we held them to like 17, and that was huge. If you hold a team that can score like Philly, obviously, they miss Simmons, who runs a lot for them, but still they have a lot of firepower out there. To 17 points, you're going to have a chance.
Nikola, we talked to Coach Clifford prior to the game. He talked a little bit about how your team has grown and evolved. But one of the things that really stands out about your squad is your own play. Coach Clifford has asked you to carry more of the load offensively to make plays for other people. You heard some of the things we were talking about you while you were there on the headset. What's different about Coach Clifford's approach to you and what's been asked of you?
The main thing, I think, the main change for me this year is that he put me back in the post. I think last 2 seasons, the team wanted me to kind of more play outside, spread the floor, and I felt like that kind of took away from one of my biggest strengths, which is playing inside the post-ups or just the rolls. And he really wanted me to get back to that. And as the season went on, I've gone back to it, and I've gotten really comfortable. And I think that's what the biggest change was. And he gives me the ball in a lot of different positions. He wants me to play make, but I think just from his approach, I think to all the players, as well as just he gives you a certain amount of confidence, just the way he talks to you, his belief in all of us. And I know also the first time I met him, I just really had a great feeling that he would be great for me, especially for me, but as well for the team. And he just gave me a huge confidence, and it showed him, all year long. He's demanding, and he holds everybody to high standards. But I think that's what you want as a player. You want a coach that demands of you always the best, and that's why I think he brings the best out of everybody on this team.
Nikola, your agent, Chika Rade Filipovic, is somebody that I spoke to before your season started. I talked to him right around the time of your training camp, and he told me you were going to have a monster season. He did not necessarily know at that time that your team as a whole was going to be making a run at the playoffs. With everything you've been through there together, losing the way you have, how special is it to be part of a run to the playoffs now?
It's very special, especially for the guys that have been here for a couple of years now. It hasn't always been easy. The losing really takes a toll on you. We had it, early. My first few years here, we're kind of going in the right direction, and then different things happen, and we took a step backwards. It wasn't easy, but this season, it was really great, especially in this last stretch right here. We were really playing for something. We're fighting, and we were playing well, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, the fans are really getting behind us, the whole city, and it's special. I think it would mean really a lot for all of us that have been here for a couple of years now, that have been through a lot to get this team back to the playoffs. It'd be a huge achievement, and so we're going to keep fighting for it. Obviously tomorrow night we have another tough game, Miami, who's been playing great, but it'll be fun to be part of it.
Well, congratulations on the win, and a huge night from you as well. We will probably see you down the road.
Sounds good. Thank you very much.
Impressive, though, what he had to say about his matchup with Joel Embiid, because he knew that at the start he had struggled some inside, and you said it, that he had struggled some defending him inside. What, though, did the Magic do to adjust the way that they at least helped to slow him down? Because he did, of course, finish with 20 and 10, which is a 17th straight double-double.
And it's interesting. I don't think that what they did specific to this game is necessarily what's important. I think what's important is if you're scouting Philadelphia and you're watching them in advance of a series against them, Orlando employed a tactic that you can employ, perhaps, that you may see other teams try to employ. And here it is. You're going to see Joel get the ball in the post. And right there, Michael Carter-Williams comes when his back is turned. His man is in that corner, T.J. McConnell. He actually picks up a foul on this play. This was in the second half. This is in the first half. TJ's in the corner. MCW is waiting the entire time until this happens. Joel puts his head down when he goes to dribble there, and that's when MCW comes through. And what happened there is Coach Clifford and his staff picked up a tendency that Joel has to look down at the ball when he goes to make that move in the post. So what you could see is that defender being Michael Carter-Williams is MCW because he's on TJ McConnell. TJ only started because Ben was out. So when Ben's in the game, that's probably going to be a longer, even more athletic defender who could get to Joel even quicker. So what will be really interesting is if you're playing against Philadelphia, can you employ that tactic because Ben is not a shooter? You can cheat off of him on the weak side with bigger defenders. That's something you may want to see or pay attention to coming down the stretch.
So with less than 10 games to go and the Sixers battling for playoff positioning in the Eastern Conference, are you concerned about dropping the last 2 games in a row after winning 6?
I'm not concerned about dropping the last 2 games. I'm concerned heading into the playoffs if I'm Philadelphia. Do they still have the level of acceptance from Jimmy Butler of his role that they have right now? Jimmy's been terrific in the last month or so in terms of accepting that there's going to be a time we ask you to carry you, and when we do, do that. But otherwise, be comfortable being ancillary because we've got so much firepower. He's been comfortable with that. If they don't continue to win games, will he stay comfortable with that?
Right.
That would be something I would be concerned with. And then obviously Ben not playing today changed their dynamic quite a bit, and I don't think they were ready for that. But what I showed just a moment ago, what we talked about there defensively, that's tough when you've got a big offensive player who's ball dominant that is not a shooter, because that means whoever his defender is, if they cheat down into the paint, as I said, typically that would be a bigger guy. If I'm Philadelphia, I'm trying to work different angles to address for what teams will do to cheat off of Ben. And you've seen teams do it to Giannis as well with different levels of success.